Welcome back to the CrossFit Games podcast. I'm your host, Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
What the fuck did I just say?
Dude, who are you right now? Hi.
My multiple
I'm Tommy Marquez. I'm Adrian Conway. Hey guys, I'm Stacy Tovar.
Shit.
Who else can I be? Who else do I get to be?
What did I just say?
Who else do I get to be?
Am I on the left or are you on the right? I feel like we're switched. Well,
hi and welcome to F45 Fitness.
Welcome back to Get With The Programming. I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grumler.
Wolverine.
Damn it. Well, the perils of going live. Take two. Son of a bitch. Thank you, Laura. Hey, everyone. Happy Wednesday, Thursday, if we stay on brand for the last 2 minutes. Greeting, can we talk about the teens first? No.
No.
We're not talking about the teenagers. We're talking about the programming.
Yeah.
Happy, speaking of Laura and badass moms, Mother's Day is around the corner. And tomorrow is the last day you guys can order these bad boys.
They're sick.
That Sherpa Works just kicked out. The moms like fitness shirts. We have crops. We have tanks. We have t-shirts. I mean, look at that. Whoa.
I love that. Is so good.
That's so good. Go to theogculture.com. By Wednesday, these orders need to be put in. We made some Mother's Day shirts with our OG logo, and they are MLF across the top with a little clown in the middle. Moms like fitness. We have them in crops. We have them in multiple colors here. So this is I think it's called Jelly Bean.
Really?
Is the color, yeah. We've got the crop. Different color scheme.
Jelly.
Mauve is actually the color.
Mauve.
And then we have tees
Mauve
for you ladies that don't want to rock the tank or the crop. We have t-shirts as well. Go to theogculture.com, shop products. We just put the link in YouTube and place your order by tomorrow.
Hello?
We have to close out these orders tomorrow so that we can ship them to you guys by Mother's Day. So make sure you guys go get after that. If that is something you want, don't worry, dads. Don't worry. We have something for you coming when it is your turn. But right now, it is all about the mom. So get your shirts in. Stefan, you may be a little early, but you are not wrong.
Yes.
Just throw that out there. But we just want to give something out to the moms, all those strong, fit, badass moms out there. The OG Culture way, the OG way. We have a shirt just made for you. You guys can go to that site. Go get them now. They'll ship all over the world. Just make sure you guys go to theogculture.com and get those MLF Moms Like Fitness shirts. By tomorrow, the window will close. After that, they will not be available going forward. Bill, how's your weekend?
My weekend was good.
Yeah.
My weekend was good. Yeah. Shit, what happened on my weekend? Well, I'm getting ready to go to my brother's wedding. So I think it was a lot of trying to get that stuff set up. So
Wedding is
next weekend.
next weekend. Next weekend or like this coming weekend?
This coming up weekend. So actually, so me,
all right, James.
And Laura and my youngest daughter will be heading out there. So it's gonna be super cool.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
All right.
It's gonna be
That's
real
gonna be
good.
super fun. I'm really happy for him. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it should be fun. Actually, it's gonna be really cool because my whole family will be getting together. And we haven't had everyone together for a while, so it'll be kind of cool to do that. But dude, you know how weddings are, man. Like everything's a variable. There's like 9 gazillion variables happening at one time.
Yes.
And so they're dealing with all their variables, and then I'm dealing with all of my variables, which is you get your suit that's ready to go to wear. That's got to be, because I'm the best man. So, we all the grooms have our matching suits and everything. And
What's the color scheme? What are we going with?
we're going to charcoal. However, originally I thought it was like a dark brown. So I got my suit in dark brown and then found out that was not the suit we were wearing. So I had to get another suit, which I put in all my sizes, got it all set up, shipped to me. I get it. And I'm like, I feel like I'm wearing my dad's suit now. Like, what the hell is going on? So there were all of these things, and I was getting really pushed to the limit where it's like, something has to work here. Come on.
Yeah.
But I got all my shit together. So good to go. So
Good.
I'm going to be looking good.
I mean,
Joe's going to be in it. She's going to be looking great. Laura's going to be there.
so
She's going to be
fun.
looking hot. So I can't wait.
Yeah. Where is it going to be?
Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, what's Savannah, Georgia?
I asked the same question, and the response was because it's really pretty.
Well,
I said okay. It's not my wedding. I just go to where you tell me to go.
Not wrong. Well, that's awesome. Couple things to share for you guys before we analyze the programming of the semifinals. We did a strategy event talk previous to the semifinals for the age groupers last week, as well as some tips and tricks as we get into it. We also did a show predicting the programming as what we may think or what we would want to see at the upcoming individual semifinals, but today will be all about the age groupers. But before we get there, I want to talk to you guys about Bubs Naturals. Restart your morning in a way that you are going to crave every day. You'll be going to sleep thinking about that coffee in the morning. And go to bubsnaturals.com, use the code GWTP20 for 20% off. Get all these amazing products, but that MCT oil that really, I mean, this is the thing that they founded it on, was this MCT oil powder. Great for your morning coffee, great to start the day. It helps with appetite, some brain fog, that gets out of the way. They got things like apple cider vinegar gummies. They got a whole slew of things, but that collagen protein for your achy joints and the recovery that you want to get to, it's good for your skin, nails, ligaments, joints. That's the magic stuff. It's not just protein that you do get, but the benefits from collagen stem well past your macronutrients for your morning routine. And again, everything on the site, if you use the code GWTP20, you get 20% off. And you're like, oh, well, what kind of coffee do I put it in? Well, it's pretty easy. They have coffee as well. They've got their Bubs brew, 3 different kinds from 3 different places. The cool thing is I don't think we haven't said this enough, but all of these places that they're pulling from is, what is it? What did you say? I'm going to unplug your computer.
I know.
Are places that Bubs would visit really either on as like vacation spots or like things that like, thrill seeking, surfing, a lot of things that him and Sean used to do. So like all of these places they're pulling their coffee from have a meaning to them, still wrapped into the life and legacy that was Glenn Doherty. So
do you have a favorite?
Man, I don't know. I just got the green, which is I think like that medium.
No, that's the dark roast.
No, that's a dark. No, I thought the blue was the dark roast. Yeah.
Blow those up.
Let's see. Dark roast, blue. In your face. I'm not a super dark roast. You're kind
I'm
of
a dark roast guy. Yeah,
you're a dark roast guy. But yeah, they got the light. Is it light? No, medium. Yeah, medium. This one is the. Gosh, where is it from? I can't remember. It says down here at the bottom. The two. Oh, Nicaragua, on Honduras, Guatemala for that one, and then the new one that they just came out with.
See, it is dark roast.
Oh, dude, you're right,
dude. That one is good.
It is good.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't think it was a dark roast, because I'm not really a dark roast guy.
Oh man, I like it a lot.
I stand corrected, but you guys stand to save a lot. So use that code GWTP20 for 20% off. And before we get to analyze the programming, a couple shout outs. Want to shout out to Brian Friend. If you guys don't know Brian, he's a big stats guy, huge analyst guy, history buff in the CrossFit space. You've probably seen him on the Savan podcast and a few other places, but he just came out with really his new platform.
Yeah.
Be Friendly Fitness. Let me pull this up. But he had his Instagram pulled up a little bit ago, a couple of days ago. Do this man a favor and pull that up. But his website just went live. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's pretty freaking sweet. It's just it's nice. It's clean.
It is good. I love that it has disc golf on it.
Yeah, easy to navigate website. But you guys haven't checked it out and you're a fan of the sport, you're a nerd in the space. If you listen to this podcast, you are for sure one or both of those. I highly recommend go checking it out. Give Brian a follow. The Instagram is Be Friendly Fitness. On his Instagram handle, and he's posting right now is, if you guys haven't seen this yet, he's posting right now his top 100 ranking for men and women. I believe teams are coming up next, really like semifinal power ranking. So not a worldwide ranking, but rankings that are coming in to semifinals for the individual men, women, and teams. So it's shout out to Brian. You know, he's dude works hard. Dude knows a lot. He pours pretty much everything he has into that outside of coaching and doing CrossFit himself. So proud of you, Brian. Yeah. Cheers to the rooftop beers in Dubai, bro.
That's right, dude. Right there.
Special day. Special day. So if you guys haven't checked out, go support him. Brian's a good dude, and he's doing a lot of great things for the sport of CrossFit. So, Bill, let's get down to the brass tacks. We are here to analyze the programming of the 2023 age group semifinals. And I know you wanted to kick things off the right way.
Do I flip off the camera for event number 1, or what do I do with that? You know how hard it was, you guys, for us not to analyze when we were doing the strategies? Like I had to take the analyzer programmer hat off and just think athlete. Because when you're an athlete, you can't care what the event is. You just have to like how the best way to get through it. But man, even though the hat was on the desk, it was like wanting to jump back up and just scream at the
I mean, it's like, wait.
Yeah, wait, I can't say that. I can't say that.
Not yet. But yeah, we went through the events. I think it was last week. We gave some strategy, what we thought it would be like and how athletes can tackle these. And now we're going to sit back and analyze the tests themselves. Now we look at what this test is. This is the test to qualify the top 10 in every age division to the CrossFit Games out of a field of 30. So these athletes have already been through the Open, 3 tests there. Technically 4. They've made quarterfinals, and there was 5 tests there. There was a 2-parter in there, so 5 tests. From, we looked at the numbers, and it was like a 1% chance to make semifinals or less than in those early, less than 2% chance, I think, for the first 3 older age group divisions just to qualify for this. And now we're taking the top 10 to the CrossFit Games. So, Bill, when you look at the stages that we've been in, open quarters, semis, and what these athletes have done and now what they should be doing to get there, what are some of the things that you look at specifically on a programming side of what should we be testing this field after what they've been through to qualify them to the CrossFit Games in what really ended up being a 6 test. I don't want to say test again, but that's what it was.
Right.
6 event test. I'll just say it. 6 event test, 2 being a 50-point scale. But what are some of the things that you're looking at when we analyze this stage versus say how we would analyze a quarterfinals or analyze an open?
Okay, if all of the steps were programmed correctly, as far as having a certain mission statement at each set, so that you get the right people going to the right stage and moving forward that way. When we look at these particular events, knowing that you're going to cut your field down to just 10 and they should be going to the games, I feel that this stage now needs to be heavy and advanced movements and high skill, and being able to not necessarily showcase a specialist, but know that you have a high level of ability in all of the 10 physical traits. I think that's what we need to be showing here. In the earlier stages, if it was done correctly, it should be classic CrossFit type stuff. Nothing flashy, I don't think. Nothing new, nothing, no party tricks or something unique for the sake of uniqueness. early because we're trying to get the right people in. As you get to me personally, I think the games, like if you want to have unique stuff, that's where it should be.
That's what it's for. That's the whole
right.
point of the game.
You've already vetted everyone to know who's fast, who's strong, who's agile, who's coordinated, who's got balance, who has all those things. Now you get to have them compete against things that they either one haven't normally done, or again, a higher, more dramatic level of things that they have to do. But this particular stage is important because you have 30 people that are vying for 10 spots.
Right.
And the difference now that you had, like against in the quarterfinals, is let's say you had a hole somewhere. If you do really, really well in 4 of the events, but you have a drastic hole in one of the events, well, you could have like a top 10, top 10, top 10, top 10, 160th, and that's going to change your scoring. Whereas here, you could have, top 3, top 3, top 3, 30. And yes, it will affect you, but like the numbers won't be as drastic. And I like the fact that they did change to the 100-point scale. So that was trying to offset some of that rather than going the classic, like open grading. But I think that's really what it comes down to now is I see this stage as the old school regionals. It's got to be aggressive.
Okay.
And that goes for even at the age group level. I think across the board, that's what it should be because it's the step before the games.
Okay. When you look at, say, a big difference here is, one, we had 2-parter formats, but we've had that in the past. We had that once in the Open, and we had that once in quarterfinals for the age group division. But as you said before, is that we have a different scoring system. And one of the unique parts of this is not only were we using a 100-point scoring system, but there are also Part B tests for Event 1 and Event 3, that the Part B was a very specialized test in a very small window of time. But those tests were a 50-point scale. How did you like this scoring basically change from quarterfinals and Open into this format of different points relegated to different types of tests?
I think as an athlete and as a coach, you want to be able to look at the scoreboard and know kind of where things are going. So you want to know where everyone is. The fact that there were so many scoring issues, and
we used all 3 scoring tables in the first
right, right. and I know that throws kind of a wrench in the game, not in the far as like what's trying to be done, but what is done and what everyone ends up talking about and where everyone's energies goes to. So I was really upset at the fact that was even a thing. Like, why the hell are we talking about that when we should be talking about these other things? Now, I do think that if you're going to have a specialized event, and we've talked about this a lot of times in all the different events, if you have a specialized element, then yes, it should be scored differently than you're going to be scoring your other fitness types events for. So I like the idea of doing that, bringing it down to 50 points. Although my personal opinion is I don't think that you should have a skills type test or a specialized type test here when you could do something like that in the games. Save it for when you have more events to offset what that thing might be. I mean, like if you look at the event, you said that we had 6 tests.
Yep.
If you look at the 250 points put together, you have 5 100-point tests. So in that, and granted, those are some different versions of that, but I don't know. I just don't think it's. I don't think that here we need to do something that's so specialized. I have to look and see. I mean, I know some of the age groups, like with the handstand hold. Okay, you're going to be your 15th, and you have a 15-second handstand hold. So handstand. Yeah. So it's like
a couple of 4s in there.
Right. And it's like, did that really do what we were trying to get it to do? I don't really think that it did. And I'm not against the idea of, expose the holes, but I think if you're going to do like tests like that, then I kind of think there'd be another way of doing it. I think if you were to do I would do something like this. If you want to do a weightlifting, a gymnastic, and a monostructural, have 3 individual tests together the way like 1 to 30 on each of those tests, and then you put those scores together, and then that gives you a skills test out of 100, something like that. I would see doing something like that, because then it kind of, I think it rounds it out a little bit more. This was still rounded out, but I think it's, I don't know. I wasn't a fan necessarily of having that now. I just feel like it was just more silly things as we've had for the whole season.
Yeah. It's when we get into the tests, we'll kind of be able to peel back those layers a little bit more, I think, once we
Right.
walk through those. So let's do that. Let's start with test number 1. Really, it's test 1A. And this was as we saw, the close to a triple
Version.
style partitioned test. It's a 1,000-meter row, 100 double unders, 20 shuttle runs down and back, 750, 75, 15, 550, 10, 250-meter row, 25 double unders, and 5 shuttle runs. And when you looked at the math across the board, it was 2,500 meters worth of rowing, 250 total double unders, and 50 total shuttle runs. So you look at those time frames and those distances, right? The bulk of your work and time is going to be spent on that rower. In fact, I think you're going to spend more time on the rower than the other 2 movements combined.
Pretty close, yeah.
50 meters or 50 shuttle runs, that comes out to being just under 800 meters. So if you're running at a decent clip, even with some turnarounds, let's just say 4 minutes, right? It's less than 800. A 4-minute, 800 meter at an 8-minute mile pace isn't drastically fast. It's not slow, but I think 4 minutes is generous, even if you made it 5.
Right.
Let's just say 5 for time's sake. And then you look at the total double unders, like 250 double unders. If you just did them unbroken, like that's going to take less than 3 minutes.
I'm not good at double unders, and I could do that.
Yeah. Right. And I think 3 minutes is generous for these athletes, right? Again, the scope of our analysis is going to the fittest 30 in every age division.
Right.
We'll be going most of the 35 to 39 weights at the moment, just to keep things simple. But okay, 3 minutes being generous on the double unders, 4 minutes or 5 minutes being, I think, overly generous for both. So that's 8 minutes of work between those two. That row at 2,500 meters, you're looking at 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe 10, right? So that, like, if we're giving everything a buffer, like you're at or plus the double amount of time of row and double unders than you are, or row and shuttle runs than you are sitting on that rower.
Yeah, okay, you guys already know what I feel about the shuttle runs. I'm over it. I don't
You want to
think
start pulling in the comments from earlier? I was going to save them for you.
I'm not going to go. I mean, it is what it is. They put them in there. I don't think that they need to be in there. But when I look at this particular event, the issue that I have with this event, I would say, over program. Yeah. I just don't know why we need to have them in there. The way it's broken up, I don't like the fact that it turns into crazy transitions at the end.
Oh, okay.
So you get it, like, why not just make it even, like, either one, just go straight triple threes. We've seen it before, where there's an event in the games, it moves to semis, which moves down to whatever. Like, if like, why not just do something like that? And even if you want to have the shuttle runs in there, fine. Whatever. I get it. But why break it up this particular way? It just seemed like now it's kind of like you're in church and you're in the Catholic church. I'm Catholic, so I get it. You're up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, rather than just getting through the whole thing. Like, let's just listen to the sermon and get on with it already. That's my personal thing. As far as looking for a monostructural part, fine. But I mean, we've had long events for the most part in the other stages. So I don't know why we have to do something repeated like that again. We've had a lot of shuttle runs in the quarterfinals. We had them in the Open. I don't see the need of having a long run portion in it again when we just did that. We don't need to have that. So I one of the things that I've said repeatedly is I feel like each event in each competition has been programmed in a vacuum all by itself and not looking across the board of what everything's going to be laid out. So I'm confused. I get it. I understand if we're looking at just what it is. Okay, cool. But I don't understand the need for it specifically in this particular event.
This format, especially.
Yeah.
Bill, can Easton or Eaton? I saw you earlier.
This would be a lot more than $5. I'll tell you that much
Buy
right
your
now.
love for shuttle runs with $5.
But you can buy me a coffee with that. I'll take that for a coffee.
Yeah. Thank you, Eaton.
Thanks, Eaton.
Beaver. I'll say your whole name because I know you want me to. But yeah, anybody else like to persuade Bill's? His analysis is for sale. I'm just kidding. I like that idea. And you're right, because this is a very top-heavy event. You pretty much separate yourself by you get to the, quote, halfway point, because we have 3 different monostructural modalities back to back to back with the row, double under, and shuttle run. And that would be a much different test. And not different as in like different tests, yet using the same elements. Like, so for example, like you said, it's like, okay, how about 4 rounds, 750 meter run, 750 or 75 double unders, and I don't know, 15 shuttle runs or something like that. And if you didn't want to change or add anything, right? Like that's what we try to do most of the time, just to be fair, is that now it's 4 rounds of, the same thing. So you can't just like, well, I'm just going to go hard and coast, or we're going to get to a point where no one can separate themselves anyways in the back end, and we go from there.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be a lot easier and would make more sense to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they didn't do that. I don't know why. I mean, even like when we reprogram things, we'll hop up there and we will find ourselves doing a 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. It's easy to kind of get into a drop like that. I get it. I just don't see with this particular setup, it's too similar to things we've already had. So why not bring it back into whatever that particular thing is? And I want to mention something that what Lito had up there about the row. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I don't disagree with the fact
the distances change, the cals, like the stimulus can change and the distance can change where it's more like effective.
Right. Right. And I think the reason we're talking about the shuttle runs is just because it's felt like the shuttle run has been forced into every stage.
Well, Trish made a good point too, and this is what I was talking about. It's like at the games, you'll see like, 3+ mile in an event, or zigzag sprint, or 400 meter repeats, or an 800 buy-in and cash out. Like, yes, you have running in different events, but those are different types of running.
Right.
Different ways to do that. And to Trish's point, it's like, and to answer this question is that you can do the same thing with rowing. You can do cows, you can do distance, you can do multiple sets, you can do this descending. Like, you can change the way the rower is used. And to Trish's point is that for shuttle runs, a lot of shuttle runs don't equal, like you can do 100 shuttle runs, but it's still a down and back.
Right.
It's not like a row stroke.
It's a shuffle run. We need to change the name. It's a shuffle run.
It always defaults to shuffle run.
Exactly.
Write it. But I also am a trash speller.
Well, spelling or not, I think it ends up being that anyway. Nobody, especially if you're doing a large number of shuttle runs, it never ends up being fast anyway. So you're not getting the stimulus. I mean, it's just more of a nuisance more than anything else, I think. I'm not saying, again, I won't say that it's a bad element to use, but why are we using it again? Like, I don't think that in our test of trying to find the 10 fittest people to get to the games to compete, that we needed to have this in there. I think we could have had a whole lot of other, another long monostructural setup, whatever they're looking for, without having those things in there. I think it could have been done.
Yeah.
There just wasn't a lot of creativity done in that. And if they really wanted this, then just go with the 333s then. Or make it 222s or whatever you want. Whatever. I mean, make it done,
Kay Nass is like, do you think they'll ever throw in a bike or a ski at semis? In-person semis, yeah, absolutely. On an online semis in this format, I think with this small group, it's not out of the.
I think they will.
I think ski probably before bike. I don't know. I just don't trust bike calibrations from gym to gym.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I've seen a lot of online.
I'll trust concept too across the board.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, you'd have to say which one it is so that everyone's on the same rower. That's what they did with the rower. I mean, remember when people were bringing in the the other brands of rowers?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, no, that's not the same.
Yeah.
So I think they could do something like that. And there are a lot of other online competitions that have, a bike or an assault bike or an echo bike or, a ski or whatever. They can bring something else into. So I can see that happen eventually.
One more question about this before we move to part B, because this is a two-parter and one affected the other greatly, depending on how fast or slow you went. But we have 3 monostructural movements: row, double under, run. When you look at this test and we talk about, modalities and couplets and triplets, or, we talk about single modalities a lot. Do you consider this a single modality test, even though we have 3 different types of monostructural movements in here?
I mean, I guess I wouldn't say it's a single modality test, even though you're doing 3 of the same types of modalities. That makes sense.
3 of the same.
Because
I had this conversation with JR the other day, and I was like, this is like an ish to me.
Right. Well, it kind of is. I mean, that's like saying
it is a single modality.
Right.
We're doing all monostructural, but we're doing 3 different types. So I just wanted to see.
Well, I mean, I see this would be an MMM.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I have written down.
Right. So,
or as I like to call the workout that I like to do.
I mean, I get it. But like, here we are as programmers trying to figure out, okay, why, especially when we come back and we look at the whole thing, why did we have this after we had already had some long events? Like, I mean, you look at some of the scores that people were getting in this, and they're all under the 20-minute mark. Even the older cats, I'm looking at 20, 22 minutes, stuff like that. So like everyone's for the most part in that 25-minute range. So here we are doing another 20-minute monostructural event.
Yeah.
I don't see the need for it. When we just had, I mean, I know we just, right before this, we had the shuttle runs and the rope climbs and the bench press, and before that we had the shuttle runs and the burpee pull-ups. So I mean, we've had a lot of long events with that type of a movement in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're just kind of overdoing a little bit. Or shit, just have them race a 3,000 meter row.
Oh God.
Well, I mean,
that is a question too, and I'll get there. Let's get there afterwards. But I do have a question on that. Graham Beatty says, I like shuttle runs in a workout. I think it's a good way to put some kind of running in an online comp.
Don't disagree.
In one workout this year, I think it would have been cool. It's just over-programmed.
100%.
I feel like that's where most people are at with the shuttle runs.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm saying that, like, okay already, you guys. We don't need to do it all the time. Like, you don't need to have. If we did burpees in every single event, in every single stage, people would be complaining. So why do we think it's okay to do with this particular movement the exact same thing? If we did thrusters in the open, in the quarters, in the semis, and in the games, everyone would be like, shit, all right already.
Right.
And nobody would do that. Why? Because they're like, well, we already did that, so we got to check that off the list. Why is this showing up 3 times? There's no reason.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point. It's like, what if, like I said, like wall ball shots?
Right.
Like, hey, we have sets of 10 wall ball shots with our burpee pull-ups in the open. All right. It's like, now we're going to do bulk set of 50 wall ball shots in the quarterfinals with rope climbs and bench press. And now we're doing 20 wall ball, 15. Be like, what the
right.
But at the same time, it's like, we don't say what, I get it. I mean,
I
have no problem with shuttle runs being in workouts from time to time. But I understand the burnout with it.
I'm done. Don't need them. We don't need to see them for 2 years.
After 1A, as soon as you finish, you have 3 minutes to do max snatches at the baseline weight of 225 and 155. So 3 minutes after you're done, boom. If you get time capped to the 25-minute cap, it's all the same. You get 3 minutes to do max reps. And when I looked at this, it's like, okay, good, we're snatching. Right? I wanted him to snatch. I really want people to overhead squat. And it was one of these ones I was like, just make them squat.
Yes. Yes, we're going to the games because here's what's going to happen. You're going to have some big, strong men and women. They're going to get to the games and like, yeah, I snatched 225 10 times. And then you're going to have to overhead squat. And they're going to be like, oh, I can only get 145.
Yeah.
These should have all been squat. I mean, again, what are you trying to test? We already have done our strength events. Granted, we're looking at some sort of capacity on this one, but what are you trying to test?
Yeah. Now, I will say the weights aren't exactly things most people are going to power anyways.
Dude, this is the Masters division. Guarantee you a lot of these athletes were powering. Guarantee you. You will see more. You will see an affinity to more power snatches than you will for squat snatches.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I've heard of a few athletes doing different things. One of those examples was Stacy Tovar said she did a snatch ladder to work up to 155. I mean, we all saw Rich's complaint post about the weight and his shoulders. And I was like, listen, this is not a lightweight after what they just went through. No, it's not a lightweight in general for reps in 3 minutes. And it is definitely not a lightweight after the pulling and driving with the legs on the row, the shoulder fatigue on the double unders and the legs there. And then the shuttle, like, it's like, yeah, that's, and not saying one thing or the other. It's like, this is not an easy weight. It's a highly technical movement to put at the end. Max, I think, what did we say if minimum qualifying? Well, I'm not even going to pull up the leaderboard. It's not even right now, but.
Right.
We said what, 10 snatches as a minimum to keep yourself into contention for the games?
That's what we said, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. But yeah, this is part B. So we have the, monostructural test, 3 different movements right into the single modality weightlifting test for reps. I mean,
so, okay.
I don't mind it.
I don't.
Testing strength under fatigue with a highly technical movement.
I would say if you're going to have an event like this in here, it has to be presented in this way. Yeah. I think that would be okay, because I think you would be foolish to go easy on 1A so that you do well in 1B. Mm-hmm. Because you're going to get more points on 1A. Like that's where you're going to be putting yourself up. So cool if you need to make sure that you win part B, like maybe, think about what you need to do, but you're going to get the max of your points on part 1. So, or on part A. So I still think it forces you to do well there, even though I know people were talking about like, okay, I need to make sure I pace so that I can go and lift all right.
Yeah.
And those points aren't going to be as much.
All right. So your top 10, same answer, first place, 14, then it goes 13, 12, 10 is fourth place. 10 is fifth place, and then 8, 8, 7, 7, 6. So if you get 6 or more, you're getting, well, I guess it says top 12. I mean, that's how tough this part was.
Right.
I was not expecting that. Because, I mean, we had said it's like you need to get at least 10 to stay in contention.
Yeah.
And 10 reps would have got you top 5.
Yeah, totally.
I was thinking top 10. Just wild. Okay. Any other thoughts on 1A, 1B combo? Anything else?
No, I mean, I think, the way they saved it was by making it the 50 points. And let me ask you something. Okay. So do you see this as a skills test? Ooh. Like what they do with the handstand push-up or the handstand hold?
No, I think it's a strength test. A strength and an execution-based strength test.
Okay, if that's the case, and you see it as that, then why wouldn't they have made this as important as if you see the handstand hold as a skill test.
Yes.
And then this is it's a capacity test, right? It's a strength capacity test. Do you feel that it should have been made at 50 points? What if it was set at 100 points?
No, I like the 50 points. Personally. I think it's still a specialist event.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm not arguing. I was just more just
dancer.
communication, more just like kind of talking that out.
Yeah.
Because I don't see this as a skills piece, unless maybe skills is like the wrong word. Maybe it should be a specialist test. Specialist here, a specialist on the gymnastics. Maybe that would be more correct to say.
I see specialists here and specialists on gymnastics.
Okay.
I mean, still, look, we got people who don't count in here, right? Like Scott Panchik and Rich Froning. Yeah, they're going to do well at the snatch. Scott Panchik just threw up 305 just about a year ago.
Right.
Same dancer wins this. Yeah. Specialist. He has great all-around fitness, but he is a weightlifting specialist. Giannis Papadopoulos, same thing.
Yep.
Paul Tremblay, same thing. Right? So like Carlos Alabadejo, like the names you see at the top 10, tell me if you've heard of half of these guys, if you haven't been following the sport for like 5 years, but
right.
you get what I'm saying, right? So yeah, I think this is a highly specialized test. Not highly, but it is a specialized test. I would say as much as a handstand hold is now. If this was the first time we ever saw it, I would probably have a different opinion. But since we've seen this for the last 3 years at the 2020 games in the online format, I don't consider that something that is so drastically different as far as challenge than this. I would argue that the snatches under fatigue at this loading is harder than the handstand hold. The handstand hold's not that hard.
Well, the handstand hold after you did what you did have to do.
Well, true, right? Okay, so it was very hard after the That's a good point. But yeah, that was, anyways. Okay, so let's go to test number 2. So we had the 3 monostructural movement test in test 1A. We had the weightlifting isolated single modality test in test 1B. And then for test number 2, we had the choose your own adventure, sort of, but you really didn't have to because there's only one way to do this if you wanted to win. AMRAP in 5 minutes, thrusters and ring muscle ups. The thruster weight is 135 and 95 for the mainstay divisions. In the middle, it had to have 15 thrusters and 15 ring muscle ups. The best way to approach this, I think for everyone except for someone who maybe can't lift the weight, do 15 ring muscle ups as fast as you can, and then as many thrusters as you can in the time remaining.
Yeah, totally.
That was it. Now, and I don't want to say that was it, dismissing the test itself. I've seen a lot of videos so far, and this is just like brutal, which is great. Right? We have this long aerobic test and then we have this high skilled strength under, stamina test in 1B, 3-minute window. The other one's, 15 to 20 minutes. And then this one is just 5 minutes. It's like the 11.2. No, or 11.3. Which one was it? 11.3, just the 5 minutes of clusters.
Oh yeah.
Right? And that's what this was. You start with 15 ring muscle ups. You needed more time to get more reps. It wasn't a weight that was going to out anybody in this grouping, right? All these athletes can do this weight. It was like, how bad, how much are you going to put yourself into a world of hurt, and how fast are you going to be able to get to that bar to do that?
I love the movements that are listed. I love the time frame in which the movements are set in here. I think it is completely idiotic to set it up the way that it was set up. Just say what you want us to do.
Like it's not a choose your own adventure.
No, at this stage to get into the CrossFit Games. Now, granted, as we said, there's pretty much one way to do it. Yeah. But then just write it that way then. The buy-in of 15 muscle ups and as many thrusters as you can get in the remaining time. Like, just say what it is. Don't make it be something where like you now have to think about like, well, what am I trying to do? Do I try to break it up? If you want them to do muscle ups and thrusters, then go as many rounds as possible of 5 muscle ups and 5 thrusters, or 5 and 10, or whatever they want them to do. But pick the workout and actually make the workout. At this stage, it's no time to be having a choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Say what the event is so that you know, and we all know what it is that you're trying to test. Like, what are you trying to test on this? Do you want to see if I have muscle ups? So that when we go to the games and you have an event that has muscle ups in it, people will actually do them. That's what happened last year. Are you trying to vet that out? Fine. Yeah. Okay, well then make it so that you know exactly what you're trying to do, so that when you get to the games, that's not going to be an issue. If we're trying to say, hey, we want to know that everyone here can get at least 15 muscle ups and 15 thrusters in 5 minutes. Okay, yeah. So that we know that at the games they can do at least that much.
Right.
Just say it. Were they wanting it to be a thruster event? Were they wanting it to be a...
Well, that's what I was going to say. This isn't a muscle up test. This is a test with muscle ups in it.
Right, exactly. It's a buy-in. All that muscle ups is a buy-in.
And when you think about Dave's Choose Your Own Adventure that had the ring muscle ups, what was it, 40 ring muscle ups?
Yeah, that
120 wall ball shots, or 100, and then, no, I think it was 120, and then 60 cals on the rower. Was that at 40, 60, or was it like 40, 80, 120?
Was it 40 or was it 30? 30, 60, 120? I think
it was 40. So I think I did like 10 sets of 4 and 12 or something like that.
Okay. I knew it was, yeah.
And it turned out that
there was a strategic way to win.
Yeah. Well, there was one that like everybody defaulted to after a while, and it was like, partition your muscle ups and wall balls however you want there, but save the cows at the end.
Yep.
So the real only choose your adventure is what's the best way you can mix and match your wall balls and ring muscle ups. And that was not a definitely set thing, but obviously less is more when it comes to cycling through that. So like the 4 and 12 for 10 rounds was super popular, and then just save your cows at the end.
Right. And I think in the open, if you want to have something at least there, because it doesn't count as much. Mm-hmm. But here, in granted, there's only 2 movements. If that event was here,
that makes sense. Thanks, Caden.
If 40 that muscle 40, 80, 120, that makes sense. Yeah.
120, yeah.
If when you get to where it's more important, it shouldn't be a choose your own adventure, because we're all supposed to be getting on the same line.
Okay.
So make the race what the race is supposed to be.
Yes, I would have had probably more of a problem or concern, I would say, with this test if it was a legit choose your own adventure. Like you could win doing something completely different than someone else. Yeah. And you actually made that great point. I can't remember where it was that you made it, but you said it's like, if this really ends up being like, if muscle ups played more of a factor, like you could win this with muscle ups, you can't. You cannot win this by doing more muscle ups than thruster. You can't. It's not happening. Maybe somebody can. Because
what if they would have done this? I mean, okay, let's just say it's 15 and then unbroken thrusters or whatever thrusters. What if they went 30 muscle ups and then the remaining time thrusters?
Well, then it would be a muscle up workout. And that's a good thing to maybe circle back to, because when we look at the total volume of gymnastics that played an impact on this overall test, I think that we were missing more gymnastics, and maybe that was the case.
Right.
Or something is like, you have to do 5 here's the choose your own adventure. 5 ring muscle ups and then max unbroken thrusters. And then every time you break, you have to go back to the rings. So you can choose how many reps you want to do on the thrusters, or do you know what I mean? Something. Yeah. Right? It's not just choose your own adventure because it's there, but like you can choose how many you do or don't want to do, but every time you start thrusters, you have to go back to the rings.
Yeah, I just really don't like the fact that, like, just tell us what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Like when you're programming for a specific stimulus, a specific set in the overall version of this competitive competition. So what are you what are you looking for? Are you looking for gymnastic prowess? Are you looking for thruster capacity? Like, what are you looking for here?
Yeah. This is thruster capacity.
Well, 100%. But I'm just saying, like, then just say it. Why put this like shroud over it of it being something else? That's what I think.
Okay. Yeah, other than just like the semantics of what this test was built to be, I like it.
I love the movements. I
And
love,
honestly,
like I said, I love the movements. I love the time frame. And if you
and
would
I
have
like
said
the test
15,
after the 3 we did, or 2.
buy-in of 15 muscle ups and thrusters, if you just would have said that, it would have been like, dang.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it because it's really fucking ugly.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like, okay, the muscle ups do matter because you can't go slow.
Right.
The muscle ups do matter because you can't blow up in the 15. And then it's just a thruster race to the finish with no finish line, which is a fun element to test against people.
Right.
Brian had this question, Brian Thompson. Do we know if anyone did more than 15 muscle ups? I'm sure some people did, but not in a, I don't know definitively in a way to like strategically make their score better.
Yeah.
Honestly, thing I really do. It's like, well, you're off the rings and you go back to those, you're just making a bad decision. Or you can't do thrusters anymore. But if you can't do thrusters anymore, I'd be impressed if you can still do muscle ups.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Lito, maybe it was meant to be an IQ test.
Hey, we're not testing it. This is not like an IQ thing. That's not in our 10 physical traits. So no. No.
All right. That was test number 2. So that was the first day of competition. You had the long monostructural test with the triplet to start things off, straight into a strength, stamina, high execution, highly technical lift as a 50-point test. And then this short 5-minute, very anaerobic test to start things off. And if you just looked at the balance of the 3, like how did you like the first day with those 3 tests combined?
Well, I mean, if you go very general, we went long, we went heavy, we went, relatively fast and burny with like some gymnastics and some thrusters. So yeah, I mean, I think it was a good, nice rounded day. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was a good rounded first day as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam Smith. What 2 movements would have made it a genuine choice of how to split it? That's a good question.
I think you look at like how fast. Okay, if you want thrusters to be in there,
or chest to bar pull-ups, then you have your Fran.
Yeah, I can do chest bar pull-ups way faster. Cool. Now you get to choose. Now you get to choose. Yeah, get out of here.
Get out of here.
So now you have your big, strong athlete that's going to be able to blast the thrusters, that will have a harder time on the pull-ups, and you're going to have your little ninja that'll be a lot better on the pull-ups than the thruster. I know myself, I will go crazy on the chest bar pull-ups. I'll do way more of those than I will the thrusters.
I'm trying to think of what we had in quarterfinals for age group divisions. We had the GHD.
Yeah.
Did we have toes to bar? Was that in the first test?
What
was the first test? I feel like we did. I feel like there was like 60 toes to bar. Oh, yeah. It was the 3 sets. The 3 sets of 20.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. And the lunges.
And the 2
dumbbell lunges.
15. So there wasn't a whole lot of chest to bar pull-ups.
Right.
Honestly, okay. So Kane just put those 3, yeah. Crossovers and shuttle runs. What about instead of ring muscle ups, it was bar muscle ups? Do you think that would have been more of a choose your own adventure? Because you're still doing the muscle up, but the reason why we say ring muscle ups weren't a factor in here as far as why you should go back and get reps is because the dip is so damn hard to do when you're tired and you're doing thrusters, which is blowing up your tricep, shoulders, and your press. A bar muscle up isn't that.
Right.
It's a massive pull. It's more akin to a toes to bar than it is any other movement on the pull-up rig.
Yeah.
Right? So what if it was just bar muscle-ups? Would bar muscle-ups actually had a more of an impact on this choose your own adventure style than ring muscle-ups? Would that have been the change that we needed?
Yeah. I know just on my own capacity, I would be on the bar way more doing bar muscle-ups than I would doing thrusters, if that was the case.
I get to a point of failure on my pull for bar muscle-ups, though.
Really?
So, and I bet, yeah. I'll get to that. And so it's like, okay, I need to go back to the thruster bar. And let's just do some clusters for a while until I get it back. And then maybe I can go back and hit 5 bar muscle-ups. Take me 15 to 20 seconds. Got me 5 good reps. I probably would have gotten like 3 if I was doing clusters still, and I can go back to the bar and just let my pole get back.
I know that like I can't do that rebound with rings. I can do it with the bar. I can do it with bar muscle ups.
Yeah.
I have a much harder time doing that with the ring. That's like with the rings. It's like you're there until you get them done because you're not coming back to it. If you fail on a ring muscle up,
That's it.
that's it. You're done. But like I don't see, not these athletes anyway. I don't see them failing a bar muscle up.
Right. And you're not
Then they can
failing
make
the
their way
same
back.
redundant movement, which is the press out.
Right.
Press out for the thruster, press out for the ring dip.
Yeah.
I think that'd have been it.
That would have been an easy fix. But I still think, I still just say what you want it to be.
Vanessa asked us that at the end. That's a great question. That's a great question. All right, let's go to 3A, 3B. So we kicked off the weekend with the 3-part monostructural test of rowing, double unders, and shuttle runs. And then we start day 2 with a 3-part test of weightlifting movements of 7 deadlifts, 5 cleans from the floor, you can power them, and 3 shoulder overhead at 185 and 135, AMRAP in 2 minutes, rest a minute for 5 intervals. So you have 10 total minutes of work in 2-minute sections. I believe you had to start over at the end of each section. You didn't pick up where you left off, which I think would have been a cool wrinkle, honestly.
Just kind of continue so you get a massive at the end.
Strategies.
Yeah. I totally do. I think that would have been a nice way to keep everybody in it, because what you end up doing is you end up being, and granted, it's not a heavy deadlift.
You're getting a good easy 7. I say easy. Let me rephrase that. You get a good quick 7 reps to start every 2 minutes now that you get to reset.
Yeah. I've done workouts, program workouts where you have your built-in break in the middle, but you just continue from where you left off.
I used to do that with the Chief.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that part of it?
Yeah.
Chief is what? 3 power cleans at 135 and 95, 6 push-ups, 9 air squats, 3-minute AMRAP, 1 minute rest for how many sets?
7,
Seven?
isn't it? Yeah, 7 rounds.
Oh, I remember the first time I did Chief, and that thing destroyed me.
It looks so that's one of those ones that like, oh, this won't be that bad. And every time that phrase comes out of your mouth, you are bitch slapped into the corner.
It's such a good little test.
It's so good.
It's little. It's nothing little about it. It's like, oh, push-ups and air squats and 135-pound power cleans. Easy. Like, huh. Tell me after round 3.
Yeah, totally.
And for me, it was like the push-ups. The air squats were so few that you knew you had to do them fast. You couldn't do them slow because, like, if you take that half-second pause at the top, you're going to lose 4 to 5 seconds.
Yep.
And you can't make that up really anywhere else. And that happens every time you get to, because you're doing, honestly, if you're blasting through that in 3 minutes, you're getting what, 6 to 7 rounds every 3 minutes? I think is about an average, above average. Yeah, I lost 30 seconds in that round because I was pouting during my air squats. It's so great. This test overall, which is like, is nasty, man. I heard a lot of people like this was the worst one as far as just like devastating.
Yeah, I think that it's one of those ones like everyone knew the DT feel of it. But just as like what Dave used to do back in the old days when he would make the Fran, whatever version of Fran we would be doing, it would be 100 pounds and 80 pounds, or 100 pounds and 70 pounds instead of 95 and 65.
Oh,
and just that little change really makes, it's like your body's like, no, this is not what we're supposed to be doing. I'm not used to this now, and it's like stepping into a whole new room.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see how this was going to shock a lot of people. Plus, it's interval. And any sort of interval is bad. When you have built-in rest, that doesn't make it easier. It makes it harder.
So much worse.
Yeah.
So much worse because that lactic acid can settle a little bit.
Sits.
Yeah, because
you get to think about it. You get to think about it.
How do I explain this? It's like if it was just 10 minutes, people would pace more.
Yeah.
You would also get into some weird like pain cave trance. But I don't know how to explain this for people that don't quite understand how bad the rest makes it. It's like getting a tattoo. They just work for 2 minutes and then just let you sit there for a minute and just recover. You're like, no, I was doing good. I was just, I was finding my rhythm, my zen of pain. And then you woke me up and now I have to like work it back down every time you restart.
That's it. That's it.
But as far as this is like, this is a different style of awful than the test 2. Right. So
Yeah.
we're going from the front rack, well, minus the squat and going overhead again, back to back. But the intensity here is much more than I don't want to say much more. It's more. It's just different. After the 3A, you get that minute break and you go right into 3B, which you have a 5-minute window to establish a max freestanding handstand hold. I was waiting for this to come at some point since we first saw it. Putting it here, I was like, okay, no surprise. Trish, no surprise that it really popped up here. I was like, okay, there it is. The combo 2, generally speaking, like I asked you in 1A, 1B, like how do you like that back to back?
Again,
end of modalities and stimulus.
So I like 3A a lot. I really I really like the event itself. I think that now that I'm looking at that, there's a whole lot of pulling that's been going on from the floor, whether it's been rowing, whether it's been snatching, now we're doing deadlifts, now we're doing clean. So there's a lot of things we're pulling from the ground, which I think is quite a bit. But I like these two together. I think the handstand, you're right. The handstand hold was going to come at some point. Me personally, I would have liked to see this event for these divisions at the games in a skills set rather than a specialist set.
Okay.
Just because I'm looking at some of the scores that people got, and not to say that people haven't been shouldn't have known that these things were going to come. We've seen them in Wadapalooza. We've seen them, we're starting to see them come up. Even some local throwdowns. Blair Morrison and Ben's event, the NCC, the NorCal Classic, they did a freestanding handstand hold. So it's out there.
Yeah.
But again, if you're going to have an event like this, the fact that they made it 50 points, okay, that I'm okay with it at that point. I like it. And I do like the two together. I mean, your shoulders are going to be blasted from the interval work.
Yeah.
Blasted.
Yeah.
And then trying to go, in your wrists, going from the on the cleans and the front rack position, and then having to go overhead and then having to go into a handstand hold. So I think that would be tough for a lot of these athletes. Not wrong, tough, but that you're not going to get someone. I think it's gonna definitely cut into what your ability on your handstand hold would do, which is what I assume the stimulus is trying to be. So just like on the weightlifting one.
Yeah, there's a massive execution thing. There's a stamina and strength stability component in a gymnastic setting. I think this is, if you were to parallel the two between each other, I thought these were fairly close. But check it out. Scott won the handstand hold at 125 and he got second on the snatch.
Yeah.
Now the specialist thing comes in here, right? It's like Lars Christensen. He gets second on the handstand hold, but 22nd on the snatch. But then Giannis Papadopoulos gets third and third.
Dude.
Rich Froning gets fourth and fourth. Right? And then you look down the line, and then you start to see a couple more specialists, right? 6th and 26 for Julian Lopez. You got 7th and 12th. That's not too bad. 8th, a little bit more spread here in the bottom. 10th and 27th, right? Not uncommon to see with two different things here.
Right.
But impressive to see, and that's really what I want to highlight, is like Scott, Giannis, Rich. Like first, second, third and third, fourth and fourth in both tests. It's very impressive.
Yeah. Well, and and I think what that's going to be calling to, and one of the things that we see with a lot of masters athletes is they can be really, really amazing athletes, but they'll have a hole somewhere. And most masters, especially as they get up into the older age groups, you'll see that hole really widening. But with these athletes basically coming straight from the open division, they didn't have a whole lot of holes to begin with. Like it's not like Scott Panchik's got a lot of holes. The same thing with Rich Froning. And I'm not talking injuries. I'm talking like ability deficits. They don't have those. So of course those guys are they'll do great on whatever you're going to put up there.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I do like the pairing. I think it's kind of, I like the lifting event. Like I want to go and do this one. I think it'd be really fun in a grotesque sort of way. And then honestly, it's like, okay, I'll just stand on my hands to try to do it for the 30 seconds.
Right.
You don't need to be up there for 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Caden says, oh, man, I just put 2 and 2 together. I'll do this for Philip, and I'll do this for Caden, so Philip can stop asking about the teenagers. Caden currently is sitting 7th.
Nice job, dude.
On the leaderboard for the 14 to 15 boys. Congratulations, Caden.
Good job, dude.
Look at you. I'll be sure to make sure who I'm talking to a 15-year-old when I respond. All right, Caden, you are getting just ahead of us with that next question. So let's look at the final test. We have a 20 burpee box jump, buy-in at 20 inches for both the men and the women, straight into 2 rounds, 20 kettlebell step-ups on the box, 2 regular rope climbs to 15 feet, into 2 rounds of 20 goblet squats with the single kettlebell, the weight being 70 and 53 for the middle tier age groups, followed by 2 legless rope climbs to 15 feet, and then a 20 burpee box jump over cash out. 20 inches for everyone on the box jump overs and the step ups for the men and the women. And for the step ups, I just got to say, like we did last year at the wall ball target in the semifinals, finally.
Great job, guys.
Great job. We're talking about weighted step ups. The height should be the same for the men and the women. This is not a plyometric movement. This is a weightlifting movement. Just like a wall ball target should all be 10 feet with a 20 and 14-pound ball. You get a lighter ball so you can throw it to the same height. We should have the same height box because we're using heavier weight, not a double the height on the ball. Not double the height, but like a higher box for this. So bravo. I think they kept the 20-inch for the burpee box jump over just for some sake. And I don't mind it. It's not going to make the test easier per se because now it's lower. So now you can go faster.
Well, the guys can go faster. I mean, the girls are going to do what they're used to doing.
So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I like the event, but to me, I feel that this is not an appropriate one to be at this particular level. Now, granted, it got ugly because they had to push, and we talked about how hard and where you needed to push on this with the kettlebells and the for the step overs and how you have to hold it on the step ups and the goblet squats and everything. But we know that it comes down to those legless rope climbs.
Yeah.
But there's only 4 legless rope climbs and there's 4 regular rope climbs before that. So it just seems to me that the volume of the rope climbs went down when we had a lot more that we had to do in the quarterfinal. What was the setup 14? That we had to do? Yeah, 14.
7 and 7 on the back end.
Right.
Or
so
in the middle.
So it seems weird to me that we went down in in all reality, it seems weird that we had rope climbs again, unless we want to just make them all legless. Like why are we testing rope climbs again? You know what I mean? So fair. I don't know. I think that I like the event itself. I wish that this would have been in the quarterfinal event rather than the semi.
Yeah. When I look at this, again, I like the box jump height. I think it changes the stimulus of the burpee box jump overs for the men, just because of the 4-inch lower height, which will lead into my question here towards the end. But I think the interference with the way you have to hold the kettlebell for both the step ups and the goblet squats, which is in that traditional front rack position, whether you hold the handles or you hold the bell, I think either direction was fine, but you just couldn't put it over your shoulder or have it off your body. I think that was a challenging element for the rope climbs that could get overlooked.
I don't think anybody overlooked it. I think yes, that's cool. You have other distractions, but then again, we're looking at the same movement. You know, is it shuttle run, shuttle run, shuttle run, rowing, rowing, rowing? Why are we having the same sort of thing in there when I don't think we need to? Again, what I've said so many times since we've gone through this season is I like the event.
Yeah.
I don't think it's appropriately set in the time in the competition setting that it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think this would have been much better in the quarterfinals.
Okay.
I think.
I like the idea of just making all the rope climbs legless.
Yeah.
The middle part, the step ups and the goblet squats aren't dissimilar from each other too much. I would almost say the step ups may be physically more taxing and challenging than a goblet squat is.
Why not just go 4 rounds? 4 rounds of 20 step ups and 2 legless rope climbs.
Well, or that, or
just
changing
even
of the movement, fine. Like if you want to go step ups in the goblet squats and just like switch it up, cool. Throwing those legless in all of it for 8 total, 2 at a time. I mean,
30 fittest people,
stage too.
30 fittest people on the planet.
Right. Yeah. All right.
That's what I'm talking about. That piece right there. I don't understand. Like, I don't feel this is vetting the top or is appropriate for the top 30 fittest athletes in all the different age groups to get to the top, to get to the world championship. It's in the stage before.
Difficult filter is what you're saying.
It's not difficult.
Like this isn't
it's not appropriate.
Okay.
It's not the appropriate filter. It would have been at the quarterfinal division, I think.
Okay. All right. So as we wrap things up, let's look at some of the things that were programmed from a modality standpoint. As we said, test 1A had monostructural, log aerobic test into the weightlifting test, right? And so it's like a triplet single modality test in 1A and then a single modality test in 1B. Test 2 had the muscle ups and the thrusters. So you have a gymnastics pull push, where the push was the dominating movement pattern in the muscle up, and the thruster squat push. Technically a choose your own adventure style gymnastic weightlifting combo. 5 minutes was the time frame there. On the next day, you had the interval test of 2 minutes per. Another triplet single modality test of weightlifting with the deadlifts, power cleans, and shoulder overhead into a max gymnastics test of a high skill single modality test. And so if you look at those 4, we have 4 that are all isolated in their same movement groups. 1 is all weightlifting with a triplet. 1 is weightlifting with a single. 1 is all monostructural with a triplet. 1 is gymnastics for a single. And that's 4 of the 6 tests. You look at test 2, it's a gymnastic weightlifting. Test 4, you have the gymnastic buy-in with the burpee box jump overs, and then 2 rounds of the weightlifting movement with the step ups and the rope climbs. The next 2 rounds of a weightlifting squat with the legless rope climbs, and then the gymnastics cash out. Now that's all gymnastics mixed with weightlifting. GW. Question for you is, we've had this discussion before, and I think this came up sometime last year, is when you look at the height of the box and you look at the number of burpees and the people taking the test, do you look at the burpee box jump over as a sole gymnastics test, or more of that cyclical monostructural vibe? Or feel?
Monostructural. I don't even, it doesn't even register as gymnastic to me.
Yeah. I put that as well. So for the 4th test, just, you have that triplet-esque modality, right? Cyclical burpees for 20 reps, especially in a lower box for men. That's a monostructural type aerobic test where they just can continue to do forever and ever and ever as they go through there. So you have that monostructural weightlifting gymnastics test for test number 4. When you look at these tests as a whole, and this is the question that, I think Vanessa had earlier. Let's see. And I'll save that. When you look at this test as a whole, and you look at what happened in quarterfinals as the test, do you feel, because you said for test 4, like this is a quarterfinals test, do you feel this entire grouping versus the quarterfinals should have actually been switched? Like, do the quarterfinals, so take this test,
yes,
put it in quarterfinals, and the quarterfinals test, which had a 1 rep max clean, wall facing handstand push-ups, 100 shuttle runs with bench press and rope climbs, the 3 rounds of toes to bar and farmer carry lunges, chest to bar pull-ups and front rack carries lunges, the freaking 15.5 repeat of 27, 2159 cal thruster. And did I get all those?
Yeah.
Do you feel like now looking at all the tests and the demographics taking this test, was this test for semifinals a more apt and appropriate test to filter people for semifinals? So meaning quarterfinals tests, and the quarterfinals test actually being a better test in semifinals to get people to the games?
Yeah, I do. And that's what we talked about when you, at the top of the show, when you asked me what I thought that this particular stage was supposed to do and what it was supposed to be including and having. And we were talking about higher intensity, higher volume, higher weights, where you have the top 30 fittest in the world that have to be now vetted to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And we're looking at some of these events, and like, I like parts of the events. I do. I like the thrusters and muscle up, or whatever that's going to look like. I like the last event. And as I said, I think that it's inappropriately positioned to where if we just did a straight flip-flop.
Yeah. Straight up.
A straight
Not
flip-flop.
mix and match.
No. Like all semis are your quarters, all quarters are now your semifinal events. I think that, yeah, you would have a more appropriate setup, because they would be, I mean, we talked about how heavy the clean was. Now, granted, it wasn't the burpee box jumps there, didn't really have anything to do with anything, but we talked about the weight.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the volume of stuff that they had there. I do think that it would be a better choice. Now, granted, I still think that there needs some tooling to be done on those events, but just making that flip-flop, I think you'd have more correct people advancing.
I think when you look at these tests as a whole, look at quarterfinals, look at semifinals for the age groups, the semifinals tests to me are way easier.
Dude, way easier
than the quarterfinals tests.
Why is it that the open event had the most ring muscle ups in it out of the semis and the quarterfinals and the semifinals?
20?
Why? Yeah, why?
That's a good point. Yeah, even an individual.
That's I'm talking about. Like, that makes no sense to me. That's where, if you look across the board, and I've said this so many times, it's like each event is programmed in a vacuum all by itself.
Yeah.
There is zero flow from start to finish about how you're vetting and how you're moving this group to this next set, to get your best set at the games.
Yeah.
We have not seen that. Granted, the best athletes, that if you use the Tia and Matt analogy, yes, the best will always get there because it doesn't matter what you have them do. I got it. But when you're looking at the field, when you're trying to get the field there to compete, that element has to be put in play. And I'm not saying that Boz isn't doing it and his team isn't doing it, but it appears from this outside that is not what's happening. I like a lot of the individual events, but I do not think that it's been put up right. I just don't. It's not even remotely close.
Well, when they said they're going to standardize a program for the year, I figured I would see a linear progression of skills and weight.
They now have access to the entire season.
Yeah.
How can you not put that out?
So let's look at, backtrack just for a little bit here. It's like you look at the open, it's like we did this wonderful test in part 1, 23.1. One of the better ones, all encompassing ever program. Test 2, shuttle runs and burpee pull-ups, and then a max thruster. Okay. And then test 3, the snatches and the double unders and the wall walks and the strict handstand push-ups. Okay. So if that's what we had to test in the open to get to quarterfinals, all right, it's like, okay, we tested a max thruster and then we did some shuttle runs and some burpee pull-ups. All right. Okay. So now we look at quarterfinals, and let's just look at them as the semifinals test that we just had. Test 1, a 3-part monostructural that everybody can do.
Yep.
The fittest people will be in the top with some outliers. We're trying to find the best 30. All right. So that filtering system to the best 30 should be, different.
Right.
Then you go into a test B that is now max reps at a highly technical weightlifting movement that is a snatch instead of a max lift with a group of people of 1,500 to 2,000 people taking this test. I think there'll be less outliers in that format than a 1 rep max clean that we had in quarterfinals.
Right.
All right, so now we tested something heavy for multiple reps. How good are you at barbell cycling at a high percentage under fatigue and execution? All right, now we look at test 2. Choose your own adventure. Call it what it, don't change anything. Ring muscle-ups and thrusters. With a demographic of 1,500 to 1,800 people, you are going to separate people in a big way. And it's going to come down to thruster capacity, but the ability to do ring muscles, because there's going to be people who won't be able to do those 15 in quarterfinals.
Right.
In semifinals, everybody can. It's the best 30. They either all went unbroken or they broke on purpose to save their arms for the thrusters. Okay, so that test hits differently in the quarterfinals. Hits and separates. Okay, so now we look at 3A and 3B. You got this barbell complex of just going to beat the shit out of you for 10 minutes. That is going to filter the right people to the top. But everybody should be able to do that. Be hard for some. And then a handstand hold is like, oh shit. It's like, oh, handstand hold in quarterfinals. Like, bro, you made them do strict facing handstand push-ups. Handstand push-ups. Right. Handstand hold in the box actually is easier to do and a different challenge to filter people to semifinals, because we'll get there in a second, right? And then the last test. Goblet squats, box step-ups, low box, rope climbs, and then don't change it. Okay, now we can have regular rope climbs in there. We let the first half people play,
right,
and the second half people test. And now you got your 30 and 30 going into semifinals, and what's test 1? All right, 3, 2, 1, go. 3 rounds, toes to bar, dumbbell lunges. Everybody's got to go unbroken if you want to make the CrossFit Games. 2 rounds, chest to bar pull-ups. Everybody's got to go unbroken if you want to make the CrossFit Games. Bar muscle-ups, and it's like, damn, that's a blood in the water shark frenzy of a test with these semifinal athletes. Right? You're going to separate yourself with intensity, not skill set. Test 2, wall-facing strict handstand push-ups. You guys got here doing
a handstand hold. So you have the ability to get upside down.
Gymnastic skill set.
Now you have to be able to use that. Yeah.
And then you go into a max clean with only 30 people taking the test. So we're going to separate you with gymnastics. We're going to separate you with strength, because we're only taking 10. After we just separated you with a classic CrossFit style test of gymnastics skill sets ascending with dumbbell lunges. Like, you got it all in that one. All right. And then we go to the elevated shuttle run test. You did 50 in quarterfinals. Now you're doing 100. It's all regular rope climbs, and now you're just racing. And the race changes when there's only 30. And then to cap things off, to see if you really want to go to the CrossFit Games, we're bringing back the repeat of a workout that's just going to separate the brave from the unwilling. 27, 21, 15, 9, thrusters and row cows, or row cows and thrusters. I think
you're
just in the wrong spot.
That's what I mean. It's like done in a vacuum.
Maybe they've been in the wrong spot. I am not in that position, but I'm just trying to talk it out.
What's crazy is knowing it's understanding the population that you are trying to vet. And that one element is what changed this. If we're looking at the fittest 30 on the planet and you do that last event, you're like, shit, really? Regular rope climbs?
Right.
Again? But if you're talking about, okay, we have 1,500 people doing that. Okay, now there's a race.
Yeah.
Because if you do have a deficit in one of those elements, then now maybe you're a top 10. Now all of a sudden you're going to be 300th in this one.
Right.
You're like, shit, I might not make it into the group.
And you can't loaf.
No.
1A.
No.
Let's just put that in there.
Yeah. Jeez. But that's what, when they came out and we were all on our thread, I was like, nope, too easy. Too easy.
It is too easy.
I mean, literally, you could have had You could have done the muscle up thruster event. I mean, we had ring muscle ups in the very first event of the Open. You could have done it the other way and done you could have done the exact same event and had that in the Open. It was less ring muscle ups than was scheduled for the first event.
Right.
Maybe granted, some people didn't get there. I understand, but it was on the workout for people to do.
Yeah. And so now your semifinal test, right? We're taking our filter view of what quarterfinals is supposed to get people, and we shift it up. 30 of the fittest people in their division are now taking this test. You're going to tell me the gymnastics skill set of 100 total reps of 60 toes to bar, 30 chest to bar pull-ups, and 10 bar muscle-ups with all the walking lunges isn't a better filter for that group?
Right.
You're making them do strict wall-facing handstand push-ups to get them to the games.
And it makes sense with the level of athlete that you have. It makes sense.
And all those people should be able to race each other. You didn't get there because you could just do them and other people couldn't. You had to be better at other people who were also good at it.
And if we talk about the traditional trajectory of those movements coming from the games, it goes games to semis, not games. We're talking the wall face and handstand push-up right now. Games to quarterfinals. Which is what we did even with the granted, it wasn't a deficit wall facing, and we didn't do double under crossovers. But when we skipped a jump, we skipped a spot.
Okay, so individuals, I don't think we skipped as much because it is a lesser. Like if we did the same thing massively, right? And so I'll give a pass here. That being said, not only did we skip a division in the age groupers, we did the harder version that they have never tested at the CrossFit Games before. Right. At the CrossFit Games before, they did regular handstand push-ups.
Right.
And in quarterfinals, they gave them wall-facing ones.
Right.
That's a skip. That's not even a skip. Like that's worse than the skip. You made it harder than they've ever had in quarterfinals. Right? They've never done this at the games, and now we're giving it to them in quarterfinals.
Yeah.
So in semifinals, you had to have gymnastics prowess in capacity. You had to have wall-facing strict handstand push-ups for multiple rounds under fatigue with box jumps and GHC sit-ups. You had to have a heavy squat clean, right? You had to have strength. So we got gymnastic skill, we've got work capacity skill, we've got strength, we've got cardiorespiratory endurance and local muscle fatigue with the shuttle runs, which you're going to have to run harder now because there's only 30 of you. You have to climb your rope faster because there's only 30 of you. You have to bench your brains out because there's only 30 of you. And then you get to the final test and you thought it was bad in the Open to get to regionals to qualify. Think how bad you're going to have to hurt to get from semifinals to the CrossFit Games.
As it should.
As it should. Well.
No. There, fixed it.
Okay. Boom. There. Fixed it. And usually we like tweak the shit out of it and it's like, just flip.
Dude, I swear no one is looking at the events. No one is looking at them. They write. I was tasked to write event 1A. Okay, I'm gonna make up something cool. It just has to be long. Okay, cool. There's mine. And then they take them all together and okay, and then there's this one. That's it.
Yep.
Dude, I'm telling you that it hasn't been looked at
that bad. Yeah, if you wanted to get to semifinals and you were good at the other 5 tests, you're like, I just got to do what I did last time.
Yep.
I'll make it. Because it's the quarterfinals, semifinals, top 10 only. Ooh. Oh, all right. Well, it has come down to this, our Element 26 thumb tape review. If you guys haven't tried Element 26, please do. You go to element26.co, not .com. Element26.co. Use the code GETWITH15 for 15% off all U.S. orders. It is the ultimate one-stop shop for all things CrossFit accessories, thumb tapes, grips, weight belts, knee sleeves, everything. And they continue to keep more and more products. And that's all I use now. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. All right, Bill. After everything we've gone through, what is your Element 26 thumb tape review?
What did I give the quarterfinals?
I don't know. I don't think you gave it a 1. I gave it a 1. I think
I
you
did.
gave
Did I
one
do a?
down.
Did I go one down?
Because you gave. I think you gave quarters 2 thumbs down for the individuals.
Oh, that's right. I did.
And I think you gave this one 1 thumb down, and I gave
Okay.
it 1 thumb up.
Okay. I'm gonna go 1 thumb down,
Okay.
and that isn't saying that I don't like the individual events. I like a lot of the pieces. Again, not a fan of the shuttle runs. I get it on its event as its own, whatever. Don't like how the thrusters and the muscle up choose your own adventure was written out. Don't like that. Even though there was really only one way to go, but whatever. Don't like the fact that the last event was too easy of an event to be vetting people to the CrossFit Games, whatever. The specialist skills, the way they were there, I like the way that they were half weighted as far as points. I think if you're going to have that, that was the only way, especially with the other events that were in there, to be able to do it. So I think that was cool. But as we went through the flip flopping and talking about who we're trying to vet in what place, I don't believe that these events were in the correct location to vet the right people. And just by what you did, I mean, you literally flip flop the 2. And I'd be like, okay, cool. I mean, there are things that I don't like about it, but like, all right, okay, cool. But I can't. Like, the entire season building up to, I feel like the filters were inappropriate and incorrectly placed.
Okay.
So, like I said, I like some of the pieces. I like the fix. I like that they went the same box step up height. Cool. Great job, you guys. I like that they got 135 in there for the 185 for the.
Oh yeah, I didn't even
Cool.
mention that.
Great job, guys. You know, the gold star on your forehead. But other than that, I don't know who they were programming for. Sorry, guys.
Now I gave quarterfinals 1 thumb up because at the end of the day, no one that got to semifinals did not belong there because the test was wildly difficult.
Yeah.
I'll start with the positives. For the 2 single modality 3-parters, the fact that 1 was all monostructural and balanced out with 1 all weightlifting, I liked that. Also, 2 different stimuluses entirely.
Yeah.
Right. For the 2 single modality tests, the fact that they scored them, single modality specialist test.
Right.
And by the way, when we say specialist, it doesn't mean only specialists will be good at them, but specialists will be good at them. The generalists and the fittest will also be in the top 3. We're not saying only people that are specialists will be good at these, but only the specialists will be good at these. Anyways, I like that they balance the weightlifting and the gymnastics. And I think the skills required for both, whether it's stamina, strength, or stability, were very equal. And I really like that they made them 50 points.
Yeah.
Standardized things that they changed, the 185 and the 135, as you said, fantastic. The 225 and 155 for the snatches, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fan-freaking-tastic. 20-inch box, same height box for all box step-ups. Fantastic. I really did like that. And then the balance on the backside with the test 2, with the gymnastics, weightlifting 1, and then basically like the triplet style chipper of monostructural gymnastics and weightlifting. Okay. I think overall, this test was a bit too easy with this part of the season being a semifinal test. What are some of the and overall, I would say is like, if this were a quarterfinal test, I would probably give this like a 1.5 easy. And if quarterfinals was a semifinal test, I would give that a 1.5 to 3/4 easy. But the fact that these are now that we've gone through and this seems to me to be in the wrong position, meaning the test is wrong, I'm going to give it a down. 1 thumb.
Don't be afraid,
1 thumb
dude.
down.
Don't be afraid.
Right? 1 thumb down. And that was the big kicker too. It's like overall, and again, we always say this from the point, like, how are we grading this? It's relative to the purpose of the test and the place that the test is in. And if we can sit back and just be like, this whole test is in the wrong place, I can't give it a thumbs up.
Right. That's what's hard. That's what's difficult with it. Because same
But if this
thing.
was in the
I like the
quarterfinals, I'm
events.
like, yeah.
All right. Yeah, it looks
Yeah, we
good.
got the right 30. We did gymnastics tests. We did a weightlifting test for reps. Freaking great. Not the isolated strength lift. We got a triplet over here, balanced out with a weightlifting one over there, and then just classic CrossFit in the middle with some legless rope climbs for the back end people. Boom.
Yeah.
Quarterfinals. And then I look at semifinals like, oh shit, we got this like cool 30, 20, 10 blast furnace dumbbells. Oh, that's kind of what we thought we wanted to see anyways. Oh, here's the strict facing wall handstand push-ups. Now we got the top 30. You're going to the games. You better know how to do these. Great filter.
Yeah, it's
You also
semis.
better be strong. Okay, max clean. We did snatches already. Of course we're going to do a clean. And then the ending test of the freaking row thruster. I'm like, oh, what a dick. But it's great. Wrong sides.
Wrong sides.
Wrong sides. Oh.
So close.
Ah, man, I would have been gushing. That's the bummer part is like, if these are just switched, I would have just been like glowing at the level of what it was.
Do you think everyone's got their way of programming and designing and all that? Do you think that the year was laid out? Do you want to say that it was, or do you think that it was?
I don't want to say no, but it was, because all of these tests were finished months ago. And I know that's not the answer you wanted to hear.
No, it's not. It isn't what I
From
want to
my
hear or don't want to
conversation-
hear, because
From my conversations with Boz, that most, if not all, of these tests were finalized and completed and laid out months ago. It's like they're not changing, at least through here. Like the semifinals for online competition and quarterfinals for all the other ones, like we're done months ago. Like before the season started.
It's not that I didn't want to hear that. It just bums me out that it's so far off, and that's the case.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that they're and without, and this is not taking a shot. I mean, it's not taking a shot on Boz specifically. I would hope that there would be somebody in the group that would say, "Well, that one's kind of easy, though, isn't it?" And just because something is hard, like, we said how fast and you would have to go on that last event, and how it's going to be shitty.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's appropriate.
You have to make that one hard.
Yeah.
You don't have to make the row one hard.
No.
It's already hard. You have to make it hurt.
So, and I'm just surprised that those comments from somebody wouldn't come up. Hey, I have a question about why are we making them choose their own adventure? Why don't we just have them race? Like, why isn't there anybody there that would ask that?
I believe there is.
What's the answer to that? Because it's fun to choose your own event. Like that's what I mean. Like, it's not the time to be cute.
Yeah.
Say what the race is. And I don't even mean in that particular event. I'm talking like across the board. Like, you have to know what it is that you're trying to race.
Yeah, it's like one of those that didn't unfold probably as planned or practiced, but I don't know what happened in practice. Like,
Man, dude, not
the
even
question is like, who do
close.
you have testing this?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Crazy.
and it's like I'm in this weird spot.
I'm not.
Just no. I just mean it's like I like when we said flip them. I love these things so much more.
Yeah. Well, they made sense.
Yeah, and that's where I mean where I'm in a weird spot. It's like, oh, I enjoyed this, but not where it is.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this test, but not who had to take it.
Yeah.
Like if my athletes who qualified in the age group division, which is not hard to do I don't want to say that. I know
what you're talking about.
Right. then they get to the age group one that they've been wanting to, and then they just get like
Just murdered.
murdered with wall.
I mean, what did we say? People didn't sign up because they saw what it was, and they're like, "What the fuck is that? I can't do any of that shit. I'm not even gonna play the game." Everybody could have done this one.
I wouldn't be like I wouldn't be like in the middle if that were the case, Trish. It would be hard on one side.
Oh man.
Thing is, like, yeah, if I want to do all of these. Except maybe the squat clean. I know I'm already bad at that. I don't need a reminder. And I don't want to do the thruster row unless I'm forced to, because that one is just awful. But I like these.
Yeah.
It's in the wrong spot. All right. Well,
there you have it.
We'll wait for that leaderboard to get finalized.
I think they just did. That's what Caden was saying.
No.
Caden was saying. He said scores
he
are
might
up.
be in 8th now. No way.
That's what he said.
Let me check this.
I don't know. I tried and I couldn't get it to load.
Well, then maybe it is. Well, they have adjusted. Let's see. Points. They adjusted the point scale. Oh, shit. Maybe it is updated. Oh. Let's go to, let's see. Yeah, Caden, you're in 8th so far. And then they said like things to be finalized. I saw some moving and shaking here. Let's see. Test 2, 2A, 2B, 50 points. Scott Panchek is up by 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Rich was ahead on Sunday. Dancer moved up to 4th. Ooh. Dude. Elijah Muhammad was in 10th. One point ahead of Paul Tremblay. And now they're in...
He's 17th.
17th and 18th. Oh. Giannis Papadopoulos fell out of the top 10 too. Oh, shit. Ooh, I see where.
Yeah.
Big penalties on the final one. Which, I mean, honestly, with the weights that were programmed, I'm not surprised.
Right.
I don't think anybody's going to get hip extension on a goblet squat with 70 pounds with the top 30 people.
No way.
All right. That was our Analyze the Programming. Both, unfortunately, one thumb down. Gotta switch them. Switch them so I can start doing this again. Switch them. All right, guys. Thanks for joining the show. Hayden, congratulations unofficially.
Good job,
Hopefully
dude.
You hold on tight. Thank you guys for rolling with us. Trish, as always, your commentary is second to none. Thank you, guys. We'll maybe see you Thursday.
We'll see what happens.
I think I'm going to take the kids. My wife's going out of town. I think I'm going to take the kids to go see my parents.
Oh, nice.
It's a little road trip with Dad.
There you go.
It may happen Thursday or Sunday. Caden, if all comes official here when the leaderboard closes officially, you better find us. We'd like a picture with the Games athlete.
That's right.
All right, team. Happy Tuesday. Have a great week. See you guys next time.
Bye, guys.